If you've been following Montana real estate, you've probably heard about Bozeman's explosive growth. But here's something that might actually surprise you. Bozeman isn't the fastest growing town in Montana anymore. That title now belongs to Belgrade, Montana, just a few miles away from Bozeman. Hey there, this is Hallie with Life in Bozeman, Montana. This channel is all about living in and around Bozeman, Big Sky, Belgrade, and all over Southwest Montana. I put out new videos every single week, so if you want to stay informed, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you can be sure to catch new videos. But in this video, I'm going to take a deep dive into Belgrade, why it's booming, what life is really like here, and whether this rapidly growing community might be the perfect place for your next home. We're going to cover everything from its fascinating history to the economic forces driving this unprecedented growth, so stick with me. Let's start with the numbers because they are staggering. Belgrade's population has literally doubled in the last 15 years. We're talking about a town that had just over 10,400 people in 2020, and by 2023 that number jumped to over 12,500. That's nearly a 20% increase in just 3 years. But here's what makes this even more impressive. We're looking at consistent 4% annual growth rates. To put that in perspective, the national average is about 0.6%. As of the 2023 American Community Survey, there are 4,727 estimated households in Belgrade with an average of 2.41 persons per household. And the demographics tell an interesting story too. The median household income is just under $89,000, which is actually higher than many Montana communities. This isn't just population growth, it's affluent population growth, with families and professionals choosing Belgrade as their home base. Before we dive into Belgrade's history, let me show you exactly what we're talking about here on the map, because Belgrade's strategic location is really the key to understanding its explosive growth. So here is Bozeman, and right here, as you can see, is Belgrade, just down the interstate to Bozeman. As we zoom in here on Belgrade itself, you can see immediately why location is everything. First, notice right here, we've got Interstate 90 running right along or right through town. It runs on the north side of Bozeman and runs right through Belgrade there. This is the main east-west corridor through Montana, connecting Belgrade to Bozeman, as well as Missoula to the west and Billings to the east. You'll also notice as we zoom in here, right here on Belgrade, of course, the Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport is right there on the north side of town. I mean, if you live in these neighborhoods to the north side of town, you're talking about, say, just a few minute drive to the airport. Any of these areas, even over here, it's just so close to the airport. You may also notice the train tracks running through town here as well. So you've got Main Street, and right next to Main Street are those railroad tracks right through town here. This is the Montana Rail Link, and it's both a blessing and a curse. These tracks brought Belgrade into existence in 1882, and they're still active freight lines today. However, when a long freight train comes through, and they do several times a day, it can back up traffic at these main crossings right here on Jackrabbit and Main, and right over here on Main Street. Now, of course, you've got the historic downtown Belgrade area right here on Main Street. As I mentioned before, you've got the local saloon, the Mint Cafe and Bar, which is a local favorite restaurant. And then right down the road here from the Bar 3 Barbecue is where the brand new library went in, and all the improvements to the park I guess it's all along in here. This downtown area is your traditional core small town feel, and you've got lots of residential just behind that, as well as several schools not too far away. So there's plenty of residential opportunities or residential properties very close to downtown, and then of course more as you move outside of city limits and outside of town. Right now, what you can see here is Belgrade's city limits. So obviously the airport isn't included in that, but there are a few little neighborhoods on the outskirts or little areas on the outskirts that are considered part of Belgrade city limits as well. A lot of the new developments that are happening to the northwest of town. So as you can see here, you can see a lot of it even on this satellite image. For instance, right here we have Prescott Ranch. This is the Cloverleaf Meadows. We've got Asher Meadows right out here that is currently in progress. There's just a few homes in there so far, right next to the new Story Creek Elementary School right here. So as you can see, a lot of things are moving away from those railroad tracks, away from the interstate there, moving either to the north or to the south, as there's also some new developments. There's a big neighborhood right here called River Rock that a lot of people really like. And then there's some larger lots and more luxury homes down in this direction. And then we have West Post, which is one of the brand new ones as well, right over here. So everything is kind of expanding out quite a bit away from the airport, away from the interstate. Of course, we do have this neighborhood here to the north where there's a little bit more development going on here in the last couple phases of Meadowlark Ranch. Now, I do have another video coming up where I'm going to touch on all these new developments more in depth, talk about what's going on and where. So be sure to keep an eye out for that as well. And it is definitely worth mentioning that some of these neighborhoods that are moving out a little ways, especially those to the north up here, have wonderful views of the Bridgers. Some neighborhoods even moving further out, again, like I said, higher end developments or, larger lots, things like that. You're going to be at a slightly higher elevation. You're going to have great views out into the valley and great views towards the mountains potentially. One of those in particular that's fairly well established, that's just outside of town up in the hills here, as an example, is right in here called Antelope Ridge. Absolutely stunning views up in this neighborhood. Another really cool thing worth mentioning when we're looking at the map here is the position of the Gallatin River running right here on the west side of Belgrade. So not only does that make for really great access to fly fishing or other, water-based adventures, it also provides kind of a natural boundary for the town on the west side there. To understand where Belgrade is going, it helps to understand where it started. Belgrade's history begins in 1882 when Thomas Claw turned this railroad siding into the town of Belgrade, named after Belgrade, Serbia. For over a century, Belgrade remained a quiet agricultural community serving the farming and ranching operations of the Gallatin Valley. The railroad brought grain elevators and stockyards, and the rich soil brought farmers. It was the kind of place where everybody knew everybody, and not much changed from decade to decade. But something started shifting in the 2000s. Bozeman began its rapid expansion, and Belgrade found itself perfectly positioned to catch the overflow. What was once seen as just a farming town started to look very attractive to people seeking that Montana lifestyle, but priced out of Bozeman proper. The real transformation accelerated around 2010 when major infrastructure improvements began. The expansion of Interstate 90, improvements to the airport, and the recognition of Belgrade's strategic location set the stage for what we're seeing today. Three major factors created the perfect storm for Belgrade's growth, and location is number one. Belgrade isn't just near the Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport, it is physically adjacent to it. When you live in Belgrade, you're talking about a 5-minute drive to the airport. Compare that to living in downtown Bozeman, where you might spend 20 to 25 minutes getting there during busy times. This airport connection has been huge for attracting remote workers, business travelers, and anyone who needs regular air travel access. The airport has seen its own massive growth with new routes and expanded service, making Belgrade incredibly well connected to the rest of the country. In fact, the Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport is by and large the busiest airport in the state of Montana. Factor number two is economic, and it is pretty big. Amazon cut the ribbon on its new $27 million delivery station in Belgrade just last month, and this isn't just any warehouse. The 52,000 square foot facility is located along Jackrabbit Road, just south of Interstate 90 in Belgrade. It will be able to handle up to 11,000 packages a day. But here's the bigger picture. Since 2010, Amazon has invested more than $110 million in Montana and created over 500 full and part-time jobs across the state. This is Amazon's third fulfillment center in Montana, joining facilities in Missoula and Billings. What this means for Belgrade is immediate job creation, but also long-term economic stability. It doesn't just bring jobs, it brings supporting businesses, supply chain partners, and economic confidence that attracts other companies. And factor number 3 is what's really driving residential growth: relative affordability. I say relative because nothing in the Gallatin Valley is cheap anymore, but Belgrade offers a significantly more attainable entry point. The median list price for all residential properties in Belgrade right now in August of 2025 is about $608,000. While that might seem high, compare it to Bozeman's median prices, and you're looking at substantial savings, often $100,000 to $200,000 less for comparable properties. We're also currently seeing a neutral market, which means homes are staying in the market for typical timeframes, and you're not dealing with the intense bidding wars that made Bozeman so stressful for buyers. So taking a look at what it's actually like to live and work in Belgrade, the job market is surprisingly diverse. The most common employment sectors for those who live in Belgrade are construction, retail trade, and healthcare and social assistance. Construction leading the way makes perfect sense. This town is building like crazy. And as I mentioned, I will be doing a future video highlighting some of the new developments going on currently in Belgrade. But what's interesting is the diversity in those jobs. You've got healthcare workers, retail professionals, and a growing tech sector of people who work remotely or commute to Bozeman. The Amazon facility has added another layer, bringing logistics and distribution jobs. It's also attracted supporting businesses, trucking companies, packaging suppliers, and service industries that support the facility and its workers. So who is moving to Belgrade? The demographics do paint an interesting picture. What I find most telling is the age distribution. This isn't just a retirement community. We're seeing young families and professionals in their 30s and 40s and people who want to raise kids in a place where they can still afford a house with a yard. And the community feel is still very strong. This is a place where high school football games matter, where kids ride their bikes to friends' houses, and where you run into people you know at the grocery store. But it's changing. You're also meeting new neighbors from California, Texas, and the East Coast, as well as other areas all over the state of Montana, who may or may not have brought their jobs with them. So it's an interesting mix of people moving here, and the town is absolutely thriving. And one thing I love about Belgrade's location, you get a genuine small town living with big city access. Main Street still feels like Main Street. The post office isn't a 20-minute ordeal. You can grab coffee and actually find parking. But when you want Montana State University events, upscale dining, cultural activities, or specialty shopping, Bozeman is just a 15-minute drive away. It's like having the best of both worlds. You can come home to quiet streets and friendly neighbors, but access more urban amenities whenever you want. And of course, we cannot forget the main reason people move to Montana is the outdoor lifestyle. Belgrade's location is absolutely perfect for outdoor enthusiasts. You've got world-class fly fishing on the Gallatin and Madison rivers practically in your backyard. The Gallatin River runs right through town. I'm talking blue ribbon trout water that people travel across the country to fish. For winter sports, Bridger Bowl is about 30 minutes away, offering some of the best skiing in Montana without the crowd, without the pricing of some of those bigger destination resorts like Big Sky. Big Sky is about an hour south for those seeking bigger mountain terrain. The hiking is absolutely incredible. The Bridger Mountains offer 70 trails from easy family walks to challenging backcountry adventures. Mountain biking, rock climbing, hunting, camping. If you can do it outdoors, you can do it within an hour of Belgrade. The difference is accessibility. In bigger cities, you might drive for hours to get to outdoor recreation. In Belgrade, you can be on a hiking trail or casting a line within 15 minutes of leaving your driveway. Now, I want to be completely honest about the challenges because rapid growth always comes with growing pains, and Belgrade is experiencing them as well. Traffic is becoming an issue. Rush hour, especially 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., can be frustrating. The train crossings that were charming when the town was smaller are now bottlenecks when freight trains come through. We're talking about backups that can last 10 to 15 minutes. Infrastructure is playing catch up. The sewer systems, water lines, and roads were designed for a much smaller population. The city is working hard to upgrade things, but construction zones are a fact of life right now. Housing availability can be tight. While prices are lower than Bozeman, they're still rising fast. Average rents are also better than Bozeman, but at $1,400 to $1,500 for a one-bedroom and a two-bedroom running closer to $2,000 a month, that's not exactly affordable for all working families. The character of the town is changing a bit too. Some longtime residents feel like they're losing the small town atmosphere they loved. New developments don't always match the historic character, and there's tension between growth and preservation. And let's be honest about the industrial aspect. Belgrade has a more industrial, working class feel compared to Bozeman's college town aesthetic. Some people love that authenticity, and others take a little time to adjust to it. One of the most exciting developments in Belgrade is the community investment in quality of life amenities. Belgrade officials just opened a new $16 million public library this past spring, which represents a massive upgrade from the previous facility. This new Belgrade Community Library at 205 East Main Street is open and impressive. We're talking about a modern facility that offers a full range of services, including reference materials, periodicals, internet, and computing. You can place a book on hold from another library, have it sent here, and pick up at your convenience, plus access ebooks, audiobooks, and educational resources through the e-library. And it isn't just about books, it's about community. The library hosts programs for all ages. Their summer library program runs June 2nd to August 1st with special events, camps, reading logs, activity bingos, and prizes. For families considering Belgrade, this kind of community programming is exactly what creates that small town connection. The park renovations are equally impressive. The city has been upgrading existing parks and developing new green spaces to serve the growing population. These aren't just afterthoughts, they're central to Belgrade's vision of maintaining quality of life as the town grows. The business landscape in Belgrade is evolving rapidly as well, and it's not just Amazon driving commercial growth. We're seeing a diversification that suggests this town has real staying power. One of the most interesting additions is the new Rivian Service Center that has just opened up in the area. Rivian currently operates around 100 service centers across North America, and Belgrade's strategic location makes it a natural fit for serving electric vehicle owners across southwestern Montana and the greater Yellowstone region. This is significant because it shows high-end tech-forward companies see Belgrade as more than just a logistics hub. Rivian doesn't put service centers just anywhere. They choose locations based on customer density, geographic coverage, and growth projections. We're also seeing expansion in healthcare services, professional services, and specialty retail. New restaurants, service-based businesses, and professional offices are opening regularly, and the commercial real estate market is quite active, with new strip centers and office complexes also under development. What I find most encouraging is the mix. We're getting both national chains that provide convenience and local businesses that maintain Belgrade's character. It's the kind of balanced growth that suggests the town is maturing rather than just expanding. So what does the future hold for Belgrade? Based on current trends and planned developments, we're looking at continued significant growth. The city has approved numerous residential developments with hundreds of new homes planned over the next few years. We're talking about both affordable housing initiatives and higher-end developments trying to capture that market moving from Bozeman. Between the Amazon distribution center in Belgrade and future plans for other commercial businesses, and there's the train. The train does come through Belgrade quite frequently. And future plans for other commercial businesses and commercial parks, this does suggest a long-term potential and lots of substantial investments. Infrastructure improvements are planned, including road expansions, utility upgrades, and better traffic management around those train crossings. The city is trying to stay ahead of the growth curve, but it is a challenging balance. From a real estate investment perspective, Belgrade represents significant opportunity. We're looking at a community in the early stages of major growth. Question on your mind, is Belgrade right for you? Let's break it down by what you might be looking for. If you want small town living with big city access, Belgrade could be perfect. If you're a young family looking for affordable entry into the Gallatin Valley, it might be a great opportunity. If you work remotely and need airport access and want that access to the mountains and everything that this valley has to offer, this location is unbeatable. But if you prefer urban amenities within a very close proximity, if you're not comfortable with rapid change and construction, or if you're looking for that picture-perfect mountain town aesthetic, you might want to consider other options. From an investment standpoint, Belgrade offers more opportunity than risk right now. The fundamentals are strong. Job growth, infrastructure investment, and strategic location all point toward continued appreciation. So if you're considering Belgrade or anywhere in the Gallatin Valley as a first-time home buyer looking to upgrade, or considering Belgrade as an investment opportunity, I can help navigate both the opportunities and challenges. If you'd like to have a more detailed conversation about your specific needs or ask me questions, I would be thrilled to chat with you anytime. My contact information is right here on the screen. It's also in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe for more Montana real estate insights, and check out my other videos about Bozeman market trends and other Gallatin Valley communities. And if you want to watch more right now, this is a playlist loaded with videos all about Belgrade, Montana, about the community, vlog tours, pros and cons, and more. And until next time, I hope to show you around town.